Hello and welcome. I am Gimba Umar. Tonight, it's like a bad dream for over 178 Nigerians as they are deported to the country from Libya. The Senate President questions the powers of the Attorney General of the Federation to prosecute him over alleged false declaration of assets. And court remands the Managing Director of Lekki Gardens Estate over the collapse of its building in Lagos. And UN report accuses militias allied to the South Sudanese army of raping women in lieu of wages while fighting rebels.
And on business news tonight, suspects nabbed in the CBN $200,000 attempted fraud.
And in sports news tonight, as the fight to eradicate doping from athletics continues, the IAAF is set to decide if Russian athletes will be allowed to participate in this year's Olympics.
I'm Linda Kibe, and from Abuja, indigenous territories recovered from Boko Haram in Adamawa State appeal against withdrawal of troops from communities.
We begin tonight with a story of some Nigerians who were deported, consolidating the fact that the grass is not always greener on the other side. Well, that's what several young Nigerians recently deported from Libya have discovered. Numbering 172, the deportees who were received on arrival by the officials of the National Emergency Management Agency had gloomy tales of ill treatment at the hands of Libyan authorities.
Not exactly what you would call a glorious homecoming. On the contrary, these young Nigerians have been unceremoniously bundled out of Libya, the war-torn North African country where they went, either in search of greener pastures or in a bid to cross over to Europe.
I'm a businessman, I have what I'm doing there. It's not everybody in Libya that wants to go to Europe. I have a very good job that I'm doing there. Like in my own case now, I did nothing. I was in my own shop in the morning when they came and took me to the deportation camp. Before I know what is happening, I'm inside the aircraft. I'm now in Nigeria.
I wanted to cross to Italy or maybe transit to Germany or one other country, but based on some kind of problem I faced there, so I decided to stay there and work.
Like exported cargo, they've been received at the National Aviation Handling Company, where they are fed and then processed by officials of the National Emergency Management Agency, ready to be sent home.
We are providing refreshments, we provided transportation from here to Djibouti, and some stipend we provided for them to move to their various states of origin. At a point of about 6,000 something. It depends on the destination you are going to. They are all adults. You can see they are all adults.
Well, it does appear there's a handful of juveniles among them too. The deportees relate tales of horror and ill treatment at the hands of Libyan authorities.
What they do in Nigeria against Libya today, that somebody will take them to Libya and say they want to provide job to them. Unknowingly to them, they are into prostitution. You see young girls in Libya, Nigeria girls, especially Yoruba, Bini, 20 years, 23 years, they are in Libya today, messing up themselves because they want to make money. When somebody go to a country that there is no government, I think something like this will happen, but Libya own, Arab own, their own is too much. They kill every day.
We have suffered a lot in the hands of Jamarians. We suffered in the hands of Libyans. They treat us like animals every day, all night, all day. I know what we blame ourselves for taking ourselves down to Jamarians.
Even though they are back home, they are already complaining about being shortchanged by their own people.
Where we are coming from the refugee camp, they promised every one of us $100. But this very airport now that we dropped here now, they divide it and they are not giving each person 6,000 naira, which is not supposed to be so.
How did they find themselves in the Libyan predicament in the first place? The deportees place the blame squarely on government, which they say has not been youth-friendly.
If you can go to a civil service today, you meet somebody who is 70 years, 80 years, working in a government parastatal. Why the youth, young graduates, they don't have a job?
And then begins the journey that will take the returnees back to probably where they started from. As they file into the bus to be driven to their various destinations, it now becomes a question of what the future holds for them. Channels Laruka for Channels Television News.
The trial of the Senate President, Dr. Bukola Saraki, on alleged crime on non-declaration of assets could not commence today as expected. At the resumed hearing of the suit, counsel to the Senate President, Kanu Agabi, told the tribunal that he had a motion challenging the jurisdiction of the tribunal. Our correspondent, Amaka Okafo, reports.
The Senate President, in the company of some lawmakers, arrive in the Code of Conduct Tribunal. The Senate President is returning to the tribunal following his failure to convince the Supreme Court to stop the Code of Conduct Tribunal from trying him. Soon after his arrival, the proceedings of the tribunal commenced. Counsel to the Senate President, Chief Kanu Agabi, told the tribunal that he had an application challenging its jurisdiction to try his client. Therefore, the tribunal should hear him first before proceeding with the trial. Reacting to the application, the prosecutor, Mr. Rotimi Jacobs, told the tribunal that the move was an attempt to scuttle the trial. According to him, the accused person, knowing fully well that he is the prosecutor, did not serve him with the application, but instead served the Federal Ministry of Justice, clearly indicating that they did not want trial to commence. He urged the tribunal to dismiss the application and go to the business of the day because he was ready for trial with his witnesses and evidence in the tribunal. However, Chief Kanu Agabi told the tribunal to hear his application because it is a matter of law that must be settled before trial can commence.
We are anxious that this matter be heard and speedily concluded. We are just as anxious as the prosecution is that this matter be heard and concluded. And I want to assure you that the applications we have made are made in good faith in the interest of justice according to law.
We are saying that if you are alleging all this, why don't you go on with your case? Why do you have to file a motion since last week and you will not serve the prosecution so as to force adjournment on us? So, and then your lawyer who prepared the motion told us about this adjournment and served me with his letter. But the motion he knew that will come up, he refused to serve me. So this is a conclusion that is how we came into conclusion that he was trying to delay it.
Having listened to both parties, the chairman of the tribunal, Justice Umar Danladi, who had earlier suggested an adjournment for Thursday, the 17th of March 2016, eventually settled for Friday, the 18th of March 2016, to hear the application challenging the jurisdiction of the tribunal, but not without informing parties that besides hearing the application, trial will commence on the same date. Amaka Okafo, Channels Television News.
An Abuja Chief Magistrates Court in Lagos has ordered the remand of the Managing Director of Lekki Gardens, Mr. Richard Nyong, owner of the 5-story building that collapsed in the Lekki area of the state on Tuesday. The court, presided over by Chief Magistrate Folashade Botoku, also ordered the remand of one of the contractors who supervised the collapsed structure, Mr. Taiwo Odofin. Arguing the ex parte application for the remand of the two suspects, Mr. Godwin Osuyi from the Legal Department of the Police informed the court that the application was filed to enable the police conclude its investigations on the matter. However, in opposing the police remand application, lawyer to the two suspects, Mr. Olabode Olanibekun and Mr. Angboje Femi, urged the court to either admit their clients on bail on liberal terms or make an order directing the suspects to report to the police during work hours. Ruling on the submission of both parties, Chief Magistrate Botoku upheld the application of the prosecution and ordered that the two suspects be remanded at State Criminal Investigation and Intelligence Department, the SCID Panti Yaba, for the first 30 days. She subsequently adjourned the matter till April the 12th, 2016.
Draw lessons from the past. This is one collapse too many, and we just have to, first of all, take care of the fundamentals. And because of the nature of what happened, it's not a matter you can do in a day or 2 days. And also, we need to involve other agencies, government bodies, that will also bring in their experts' opinions. We're talking about body that is responsible for regulating, buildings collapse. The Office of the Surveyor General. It's not just a matter of taking statement, but these people's expertise needs to also be incorporated into the investigations.
I think that is premature. If the prosecution has said it hasn't concluded its investigation, there's nothing anybody can do. So we'll just wait for the prosecution to. Our position really will be to react to whatever happens when the charge is filed. Okay. Thank you.
In the meantime, the management of Lekki Gardens Estate has commiserated with the families of those who lost their lives in the unfortunate incident. The company management in a statement says it regrets the loss of lives as a result of this incident and are making every effort to provide adequate medical care and attention to the survivors, as well as get in touch with the next of kin of the bereaved. The statement reads, in part, quote, Lekki Garden Estate is working in collaboration with all the appropriate authorities and will not leave any stone unturned to find out the exact cause of this incident. We would like to seize this opportunity to earnestly commend the timely intervention of the Lagos State Emergency Management Authority, LASEMA, the Lagos State Fire Service, Lagos State Ambulance Service, Red Cross, National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, the Rapid Response Squad, and the Lagos State Building Control Agency. Lekki Gardens Estate further states that it is a reputable organization that is very conscious and mindful of safety. The company adds that it has constructed several housing units across the country and will continue to ensure full compliance with all applicable safety standards and procedures. And in part two, after the break, Army rescues 67 hostages from Boko Haram captivity in Yobe State. Stay with us.